Hello and welcome to another episode of our Eclipse Exchange Podcast. Today we're joined by Brett, our technical manager here at Eclipse. He's going to tell us about the importance of support and training and highlight why we're the UK's leading supplier of multi-brand diagnostics. So Brett, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I've been with the company now for 9 years. I was a mobile technician before I came, so I was employed to be on the vehicle support help desk.
Yeah.
Then about a year into my employment, an opportunity arose to take over the technical training,
Sure.
which then I did for about 4 years. And then I stepped into the technical manager's role.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously during my time here, I've been involved with the vehicle support, the IT support,
Mm-hmm.
the training, and then
And
obviously
handling all
then overlooking all of the national accounts and
Sure.
basically every aspect of the support that we offer.
Yeah. And I suppose we can speak firsthand, Aaron, as sales managers at Eclipse, how valuable the vehicle and IT support is.
We couldn't do our jobs without it.
No, absolutely. And especially when we go on demonstrations, a lot of the time when we go to see a vehicle operator or a repairer or a machinery hire company or even somebody in the marine sector, if they have a vehicle, vessel or machinery fault, we're not technicians.
No.
So we rely on the Jaltest technical data, but also the vehicle and IT technical support to help us fix that fault, diagnose the fault for the customer.
Yeah.
I'll go back to when I was a mobile technician. I had a piece of diagnostic kit in the van, but had no technical support at all.
Yeah.
So there's certain jobs that I went to that I possibly could have done using the kit, or it was on the software, but I didn't know the intricacies of how to do it.
Yeah.
But because I was on my own and didn't have that subject matter experts on the end of the phone to say, right, I've got this procedure I need to do, how do I do it? Then a lot of jobs then were sent elsewhere, whether it's third party or something else do it, based on the fact that either I couldn't do it or didn't know how to do it because I wasn't trained in to do it. I was very much, here's your van, here's your tools, here's your piece of diagnostic equipment. And left
It's you and the van, isn't it?
Yeah. And you've got the confidence to call somebody who uses Jaltest, who uses diagnostic equipment day in, day out. And obviously 15, 16 years now of experience and our database being 15, 16 years old of constant faults from a variety of different operators.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head is a lot of our customers who have the Jaltest, they have to service, repair all of the vehicles as well as everything else that comes involved with the job. The guys on the vehicle support, including myself, when I was on the phone, that's all we do Monday to Friday, 8:30 to half 5. We support our Jaltest customers, so there's not much on that kit that we don't know. And if there's ever a point when we need to reach out to the manufacturers, again, we have them available to us during our whole period that we're open.
Great.
So we can go to them and say, okay, we've got this issue, are you aware of it? They will then jump on as well. So we have that additional level of support with the manufacturers, as well as the customers know that they can call us directly. As well.
And obviously something I'm sure you'll highlight, but all of our vehicle technical staff are ex-vehicle technicians. Absolutely, they are industry professionals.
Yeah, so we've got commercial technicians, we've got technicians from a machinery background, car technicians as well. So we kind of cover the whole spectrum of it. So we don't employ anybody into that role. They are ex-industry trained.
Sure. So they speak the same language.
Which is great for again, coming back to our jobs, it's confidence we can put in that customer and we can say they are industry trained ex-technician. And pick up that phone. Yeah,
and obviously we mentioned it in a previous podcast, but being UK based IT and vehicle support,
all from here.
Absolutely, all from the UK, but it also helps in an IT perspective for repairs and supply and stock. I know obviously the IT department being able to get a customer's kit back, and what's the turnaround on repairs?
Yeah, so the aim is from point of the fault being raised to the customer getting it back repaired is the aim is 48 hours. So that is from getting it collected, getting it in, analysing the faults, quoting it, getting it repaired and getting it back to the customer.
Which is essential for these customers because the kit not being there is downtime to them. They can't do the job sometimes without this kit. So
like we say, we sort of feel guilty calling it a diagnostic tool now because it's not just something you plug in, once or twice a week. Some customers are using this 2 or 3 times a day. Every job. There's a reason to use, or there's a benefit from using Jaltest. And when that goes down and you don't have the tool with you, it can stop some workshops, and then you have to look at other means to get things repaired. Which obviously, the 48-hour turnaround is fantastic. And I know, compared to a lot of other platforms out there, sometimes you can wait weeks for your tools to be repaired, and the wheel note
sent back, be analysed, and then
you're not going to have a solution until your equipment is repaired.
So when I started, again, what happens is a customer has an issue. Depends what it is, whether it's they've got an issue with a fault code, or they want some just help or some advice. They'll call into the support line. So there's a dedicated number for the support team. They'll obviously come through to the vehicle guys. So we'll obviously qualify who the customer is. And then they'll obviously give us the information what they want. So it could be simply that they've got a fault code on a vehicle that the information is on Jaltest, but they either want a second opinion or just want to elaborate on, say, actually, what does this mean? Because some fault codes on vehicles can be generic in the sense. So I'll give you an example, an AdBlue fault. You might get a fault code saying your emissions is too high. But that's what it gives, because that is the fault code, and the vehicle doesn't know why it's high. All it knows is that the NOx sensor said the emissions is too high, you need to fix it. And as we touched on before, because this is what we do and we work on this Jaltest 9 hours a day, we can then say, right, these are the paths that you need to follow. The way in which we know that is, as we said, we've been going for 6 years. So all of this database, all of these calls that we get, they get logged. So we have all of this backup information. So we could have 1 week 50 calls of the same fault code. And then we know, right, this is the correct path to start following.
Because it's logged.
Because it's logged, and customers come back to us and they will say, oh, actually, I found this fault code, it was this. And it's one thing that the customers do quite well is if they go away and test what they do, come back and say, yep, it was that, or actually found it was that. We can then keep logging that. And then a pattern emerges and we say, right, okay, if you followed step A, B, C, D, and E in that order, then this is probably the most common fault. It's not that move to that, move to this. And then they should be able to find that fault. So to me, it just gives that customer the encouragement, knowing that even if they don't fully understand what the code is, that they can phone us. Or sometimes, as we all know, components are expensive. So before they fit a NOx sensor, which let's say is £500, they want to say, actually, is it the NOx sensor? Because again, it could be, as I said before, NOx emissions is too high. You might think that's the NOx sensor, but it's not. What it's saying is the AdBlue potentially isn't injected enough to bring the emissions down enough. So the NOx sensor is actually working perfectly fine. It's just the emissions is too high. So the NOx sensor is actually telling you, yep, I'm reading perfectly fine, but my emissions is too high, please find out why. So it means the NOx sensor isn't it. So they could fit a NOx sensor. They then phone us up and say, no, it wasn't that at all. Just then fitted a £500 component.
So you're following a path of repair without the customer having to essentially spend thousands on throwing parts.
Take a stab in the dark.
That's the whole reason we buy diagnostics, right?
Absolutely.
But equally, another call could be, so for example, every trailer manufacturer, so Wabco, Norbrems and Haldex, if you was to buy a brand new EBS ECU, it comes blank. So therefore it needs to be programmed up, which we can do. But again, it's quite a daunting job. I remember, I think I'd only been here 2 weeks and a customer phoned up and said, I've got a trailer, can you help me program it? And I was like,
do it for me.
So for me personally, I know exactly how they felt, because similarly, I felt like that. So I was like,
you've been in that position before.
So with the help of the guys, but more importantly, with the help of the software. And I think this is where on the previous episodes, and we can't, the software tells you everything that you need to do. So as long as you follow that step that says, so let's say now before you press next, you need to make sure that this and this is done. You press next, you go next. So the information is there. However, as I said before, programming trailers is a daunting task, especially if you have to do it from scratch and have to manually enter in the data. But again, myself and the guys now that are on the vehicle support help desk, they do it day in, day out. So for them, the process is easy.
I've seen that before. They can point you in the right direction.
Exactly that. And because we offer Eclipse Assist, which is our remote support, it's not the case of we're telling over the phone, right now put in 4572, and they're like, where do I put that? We remote onto their machine. We can see everything that they see on their screen, and we can then type it in. But not only can we do it for them, we can also give the training, ongoing training, which we know we obviously do our training course, which we're going to touch on a bit further on. But every day is a training day for the customer, because they can use us unlimited for 8:30 to 5:30. on any question whatsoever.
Sure.
Even as similar as I've tried to plug it into a vehicle and I'm getting this error message, it's not connected. And again, we know, so we say, right, okay, on the screen there, in brackets, it's going to give you a 3-digit error code number.
Yeah.
What's that number? So they'll say 004 error or 007. We then know which department it needs to go to. So is it a vehicle issue or is it an IT? Simply, let's say a 004, take that for example, it could simply be the fact that they've plugged into a vehicle that they believe it is. So I'll give you an example, a DAF LF. So they found an LF, they've clicked on it, they found the engine, they go to connect and it's 004. Okay. They don't know why. We then remote on, we say, right, what year is this DAF? And they say 2018. And we say, right, okay. We then remote onto their machine and we see, actually, you've gone to LF IV, which is 045. It's the E6. So we then go into the E6, what system trying to engine, we press the connect.
Which is what Jaltest is very good at, is giving specific data.
And it sounds so basic, but if I go back to obviously when I was a mobile technician, if I had that error message, and because I've never used the kit and I don't know what that means, that I'm stuck. And it's similar again when we go on to the training courses. The first thing we start on is the basics, because like I say to everyone who attends the course, there's no point me saying to you, this is how you calibrate a VGT. This is how you program a trailer. This is how you calibrate the suspension system. If you don't know how to find out how to connect to a vehicle.
Sure. And I suppose that's something that the sales guys cover, me and Aaron cover, obviously, and the others, that with part of the service, shall we say, with your purchase, you do receive that handover training, as obviously Brett quite rightly mentioned. We will show you how to navigate around the screen, show you those basics, how to get diagnosing, how to actuate components, look at your measurements, etc.
Enough that you can pick the kit up
and get going day one. Absolutely. So you're not waiting weeks or months to get on a training course. You're going to be able to use that equipment from the get go, with the help of support. One thing I wanted to mention was, it doesn't always have to be, as you say, and you raised a really good point, it doesn't have to be as technical as, you need to program a trailer ECU. You can call the vehicle support if you've forgotten how to access your tightening torques. You're not sure how to pull up your live measurement.
Where do I need to go?
Which vehicle I go to? The Ford Transits, the Mercedes Sprinters of the world. How many different variants?
On the light commercial, for instance, there's 565 variants of Ford light commercial. So, of course, there could be the odd one that sometimes, what engine code do I need to go in?
Similar to the Sprinters, you go in there and it's a 311, 314, 417. There's so many different varieties.
Great.
But good luck trying to find the model number and the engine type or the engine code on the vehicle somewhere. Being able to call the support and say, as you say, I've got a vehicle here. I've gone in under this variant.
Here's my reg number.
The Jaltest doesn't seem to be communicating. Have I done something wrong? And the vehicle support can pick up on
in a 30-second phone
human
call,
error.
You've got your answer.
You bang you straight.
But even going back to day one when the company was founded, is we've always sold the best diagnostic on the market. That's what we've always been about. But you could sell the best bit of kit on the market, but if you don't have that fundamental support to back it up, then it doesn't matter what you were selling, because as we said, we can say that Jaltest does X, Y, and Z, but what we haven't told them is how you actually use it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So fundamentally from day one, the foundations of Eclipse were built solid on the fact that let's sell the best, but let's be the best
supporting that after sales support.
And this is why we've still got customers that we've had from day one who are on their fifth kit from us.
Yeah.
Because they know that we invest in the kit. They know that we always look to improve the product constantly. But the support is second to none. Because not only obviously we've got the vehicle guys that we spoke about, as I said, all industry trained technicians.
Which is so important.
But we have the IT support team as well. And again, every member of the IT support is IT trained. We have specialists in certain fields. So again, with all of our TestPad Extreme Pros, they run on a Windows based system. So we have Windows trained technicians who know fully how to use it. And IT, again, the Eclipse Assist, the remote assistance for the vehicle support is essential. And for the IT, I would say it goes to the next level of crucialness. The reason being is probably 80% of IT related issues that you have can be fixed remotely. So all they need at their end is have it connected to the internet and the guys can remote on, because a lot of the issues you have are software based issues. So they can then remote on and say, we've seen what's happened here. they can do their IT wizardry and get the kit working again.
Yeah.
What that means is instead of then that customer without their kit, let's say for a minimum of 48 hours, then the kit's fixed within 10 minutes.
Yes.
And it's back
So
to
it's that unnecessary sending back, etc.
And some customers who have highlighted over the years, well, I'm mobile, I can't use the internet, mobile hotspot, personal hotspot on phones now, it's pretty much accessible on any phone. And obviously the IT support will guide you through being able to turn your hotspot on your phone, tethering your TestPad Extreme Pro to the phone and piggybacking off that data, and the guys can obviously then remote on.
But even equally, with our TestPad Extreme Pro, we do the LTE model now. That obviously there is a SIM card slot within it. So if they are mobile, and that is a crucial part that let's say they want it constantly to be online, they don't want to tether it as and when they need to, then obviously sell one of them, pop a SIM card in it, and it stays online for a while. We've got quite a few national accounts that do just that. So they almost want their internet to be standalone from, let's say, that their national network. So that's what they've done. They put SIM cards in each one of their test pads.
Sure.
And they're constantly online. So what happens then is customer phones up, they say that I'm calling from wherever they're calling from, I've got this issue. And we don't require them to do anything. We don't require them to say, right, give me an ID number, go here, go there. Every sell that we do, we save that customer a unique ID number, so they can say, I'm calling from AB Autos. We go there, there it is. We double click onto their name and we're straight into their machine.
Brilliant.
Just again, it's that saving sort of time, isn't it? It's saving downtime. Straight on the kit, straight onto the problem.
Yeah.
And with the IT team as well, is they also deal with all of the sales. So for the hundreds of kits that you guys sell out on the field, it's the IT team that build them. So they know the product inside and out as well. So again, it helps with the complete understanding. So if you was to phone them and you was to say, okay, this customer said that he's broke his JDC 213. Everyone knows what that is. So it's not the case then that you have to speak to the vehicle support, because they will then know the technical side of it, who then have to then go to the IT support, who then need to go to the admin. Everyone knows the product inside and out.
Brilliant. It's what puts confidence in us in saying next day delivery on cables, because we know that phone call straight to the cable and send it.
And a lot of customers, we always highlight this, it seems that customers do purchase this equipment when they already have an issue. They need it there and then, and being able to ship stuff on next day delivery, bang, it's there before 10:30 the next day half the time. I've had a customer call me and catch me out of the blue. I've got my equipment, and I'm like, what, already? The IT support and very good at doing that. And I suppose the coming back to the training element, so we've done that handover training, me and Aaron, for the customer. He's happy using the equipment, but what can the customer sort of do next to advance not only his use of the equipment, but also his knowledge, their knowledge, his or her knowledge on a variety of different vehicles and machines nowadays? Yeah,
for sure. So as I said, I was with the company, I think it was coming up to a year, when obviously the technical training role came up, and again, similar to what you're asking now, I was quite intrigued. Well, what does that mean? What do we offer? So what we do is we tend to let the customer use the kit for a couple of months. So you've done your initial handover training, so they know that the basics, they know how to turn the kit on, they know how to diagnose, they can look at some live data, and they might have had a go at some system checks, but right, okay, and then they built let's say their book of questions, let's say, and they've utilised the support for certain jobs that they've had. But what they want to do now is say, right, now I'm ready to take the next step. So obviously on all the kits, there's an expert mode code that takes you to that high level functionality that they can apply for. But some people want to come on the course first to learn so this high level functionality, these calibrations that I can see, these parameter settings, what does it involve? So what we do then is we invite them to come on a 1-day introduction course. So the intro course is from let's say from the basics all the way up to then the programming, the calibrations. So yes, they've had the handover training, but at the same time, as I said earlier on, is if they don't know how to identify a vehicle, the connector type and get plugged in, then we're not going to then jump straight on to programming a trailer, to calibrating a suspension ECU, because we need to get them fundamentals sorted first. So the way the training course works is we start with the morning session and we go through some of the basics on there. So when you select a vehicle, how do you find what connector you should use? So an example again is if you select the wrong vehicle on certain ones, so we take a DAF for an example. So if you clicked onto CF, I think there's 5 different CFs that you can choose from.
Yeah.
You've got an 85 CF, a CF85, a CF85 IV, a Euro 6, then you've got the MX11 and 13, and then the new F7
series as well.
So you can get as far as to, you've got them choices of them CFs, and you're thinking, right, which one is it? So yeah, I know it's a new one. So the 85 CF, the CF85s have the old round style connector. So if you get in the habit of going through, let's say, the connector info button, it then shows you the connector you should be using. So that instantly eliminates half of your selection.
By the way, just knowing not only
especially
where
for
to
us,
plug it, but what is the cable, what does it look like, and the label for it.
Yeah. So let's say then you found the socket and you've looked and it's an OBD, and you've seen that the one that's asking us for a round one, and obviously the OBD cable is the standard 6 to 20, thinking, right, that can't be my right vehicle. So you backtrack then, right, you find that vehicle. Right, okay, so that is the one. Oh yeah, but hold on a minute, that system doesn't have AdBlue listed, so just eliminate that one. And then you're left with 2. Let's say. So there's that process of elimination. And because there's 3 software updates every year that come out, the software develops and brings new feature every time. So there is an innovations list that we send out, and we invite obviously the customers to update their machine. But there's stuff that people don't know. So for an example, VIN identification now.
That's
brilliant.
So now you plug the Jaltest in, you go to the question mark VIN identification, it reads the VIN on the vehicle, and it says, okay, yep, that's a DAF CF 85 MX11, and you're straight into it. And then even things, so let's say that to follow that on, you can obviously save diagnosis reports on the machines, but not only can you save the diagnosis reports, everything you've done, you can assign it to the vehicle. If they're if it's your own fleet, you can put them under your own banner. If you're a third-party repairer and you've got 50 customers, you can have each customer listed on your Jaltest and save all of the vehicles on it. So not only does that assign the report to them vehicles, what it means next time you come and plug that vehicle in, you search the reg of the vehicle and you go straight into it.
Exactly whatever you
automatically, automatically saves the report to the vehicle as well. So you can start building up your own database of what's been on. So let's say you're doing your 6 weeklies, and part of your 6 weeklies now is you want to system scan all of the vehicles. And you see that there's 6 inactive fault codes in the system. So you've cleared them all down, you've saved the report, it comes back in for its next 6 weeks, but the same 6 codes are in there. There's no light on the dash, but what that is telling you is something potentially is starting to fail on it.
Preventative maintenance, I guess, which we have covered before. But this is
So then you would then think, okay, the same faults have come again. I know that because I've looked at the previous report. They're the same faults again. Let's look at some live data. Let's see when them fault codes become active last time. Certainly, modern Euro 6 now give you an array of information in the freeze frame data. So it will tell you the fault code occurred on this date at this time. The vehicle speed was this.
All the variables recorded at the time.
So you think, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that vehicle to them variables and see what happens and look at some live data. So
which you can do in the kit. Just put in with the flight mode, the data recorder, which is very, very good.
That is a fantastic enhancement that they put on there last. I think it was last year they released it, and you can put up to 24 lines of data on it, pop it on the passenger seat, and go for a half an hour road test. Come back and watch the recording back. And what I like about that recording is not only does it give you all the live data, it gives you the diagnosis menu as well. So what you can do the second that fault code becomes active, pause it straight to the live data and go,
brilliant.
Almost go and look at what caused that fault at what time under what load. Which is, it saves 2 people going on the road. It saves you having to balance it on your lap. It just trying to sometimes have that fault live in the workshop isn't possible all the time. So to be able to take it on the road and try and make that fault come live again is important.
How many times do we go out to a customer and they say to us, oh yeah, this one does have a fault. The driver has reported that it's got a fault. And we go, we say, is the light on the dash? And how many times do the customers are like, oh, I'll just check. Oh, no, it's not. It's gone historic. And so that's where it comes into its own.
It's a great selling point in the kit.
And also it prevents that vehicle going out, and then let's say a week later it's broke down at the side of the road, and then you've got recovery costs, you've
downtime for the customer.
You found the fault and you say, that sensor there every so often is dashing out, so it's losing its signal, it's putting a fault code on it. So potentially that sensor's starting to fail. You've replaced it, and then like you say, you prevented that vehicle from breaking down out on the road.
We touched on preventative maintenance with SUC content, ash content on DPFs. Hence, same sort of story really. Viewing it when you do that system scan your 6th week.
If it's getting too high,
force a regen. Until it gets to the point of no return, really.
And obviously you mentioned the reports, and that's where we were going with this. All this data is accumulated, so you can save this to that GRPR, Garage Resources and Planning software, the program that we have within Jaltest. But what's great about it is you can actually transfer that data over to a workshop manager's computer.
And even more so now, an enhancement they made again on it, I think it was beginning of this year, is there's an auto email function on it now. So now, as long as the pad is online, you automatically within the software say what email you want it to be sent to. You save the report and it says, do you now want to send this email? You press the yes, and it sends it straight. So then you don't have to pull it from the Test into an email to then send it. It automatically goes straight to the office. So even that, so let's say as part of the invoice side for the customer, and they want to attach the diagnosis report to it to say, this is everything that we've done. Then it's flawless. You save the report, and so no matter if you're 100 miles away from the workshop,
it's done there,
then sends it straight away, so they can see everything that has been done, and then attached to the customer's invoice and say, right, as you can see there, these are the faults you had, these were the checks that they've done. You can see right then all the fault codes are cleared, and obviously your vehicle's ready to go again.
It also helps with proof of work as well, and the success that the completion is done. We get a lot of customers say to us, no picture, no pay. They have customers that without proof of what they've done, what parts have been fitted, they're not going to get paid. And with Jaltest, they're able to show the faults, what they've done, the tests that they did, the live measurements, any flight record that they did, and put this all on a report to prove to their customers, this was the issue, this is what I did, this is what I fitted, or this is what I've rectified, and obviously generate that invoice for the service too.
And a common kickback I had when I was a mobile technician was, you get a phone call, the engine management light's on again. Right, okay.
Right.
So you go there, oh, you didn't fix it then, did you? Right,
exactly.
Let me have a look. You plug into it, and you had a fault code with the DPF pressure sensor, and this time you've got an ejector fault. So you say, it's the same warning light, but every system has hundreds of different fault codes. Oh, no, it's the same light. And you say, there's the report. And again, something that my diagnostic device, when I had it, didn't have. So mine, I literally had a black book that I wrote the reg, the fault, and what I did. So again, time consuming. So instead, let's say during my 9 hours a day, I was spending 3 hours doing paperwork, logging stuff, writing it all down, when Jaltest logs it all by itself and saves it.
It saves that fault codes come back live again. I mean, you said a few weeks ago, for example, 6,000 fault codes on a DAF
engine.
So I mean, that engine light might come live 10 times, but with a different fault every time. And that's with Jaltest reports.
Loads of different variations.
So that's kind of what we go through during the morning. So that kind of stuff that
getting
during the handover training that you guys wouldn't touch on, because your main aim is to show how to use the kit. So we kind of emphasize the additional stuff, all the additional stuff that you get within the package price. So we don't then say, oh, look at all of this. By the way, this is a bolt-on module. This is all included within the subscription of the
what
license.
You see is what you get.
So we go with that, and again, there's plenty of, a majority of people on the training course will learn a great deal with what it can do and think, wow, that's really good. Then what we do in the afternoon then is we then move on to the advanced side of it. So we'll start with AdBlue. AdBlue is a massive topic. So much so that we run, which we'll talk about shortly, is an advanced AdBlue course, because AdBlue, certainly from a support point of view, is probably 60% of our calls that we get are anti-pollution faults. And with Euro 6s, so historically on Euro 4-5, you fitted DPF and an EGR system that complied with the emissions, or you fitted AdBlue, one or the other. So, for instance, DAF went AdBlue, whereas majority of MENs went EGR. Volvo and Renault went AdBlue, whereas again, a lot of the Scanias went EGR. When they brought Euro 6 out to comply with Euro 6 regulations, which brought it down massively, had to bolt both on. So now there's DPF, EGR, AdBlue, all on one vehicle. You can imagine the faults that we had in Euro 4-5 are now doubled, because every vehicle has both systems fitted to it that are constantly working to keep the emissions
or not working.
Or not working. Out of the let's say, for instance, the 3,000 calls that we get a week, 2,000 of them calls are emissions. So that's why it's a massive subject. It's a subject that many workshops are interested in. It's why we run this advanced course. But what we do on the one day is we do a brief overview of the AdBlue. So what is AdBlue? What does it do? What is its purpose? How does it work? And then we talk about different systems. So again, what people don't realize is the AdBlue system on a DAF is the same AdBlue system that you would find on a Euro 4.5, let's say. So the one on the DAF you'll find on an MAN, you'll find the same on a Scania. Mm-hmm. Exactly the same system, which is a Bosch system, but they name it different. So DAF call theirs the EES system. Scania will call theirs the EEC system. But they're both exactly the same system, work the same way, have the same components. So instead of us saying on the course, okay, so on a DAF, we talk about manufacturers of systems and then say these are fitted to this, this, and this.
Sure.
But as I said, because it's a 2-day, we kind of go over a brief overview, and it's mainly, look, on Jaltest, this is what we can do. Dosing tests, for example, is massive across every range of industry. Commercials, bus, plant, anti-pollution systems are a problem across all of the industries. So on our software, every system, every vehicle that has AdBlue, we can do a dosing test. And for me, I'm a bit geeky, that is, for me, one of the best tests that we can do. And if you sit on one of my training courses, you will see the passion that I have for it, only because for me, this is where you find fault codes that are quite generic, but there's so much you can do on the system. There's so many live data and so many system checks, and the dose and test for me is the best because an AdBlue system goes through 4 phases. When you turn the ignition on, it goes through what's called initialization stage, where it just tests to make sure all the sensors are reading okay. Can it read the pressure sensor? Can it read the temperature? Does the pump start? That kind of stuff. Then it will go through, let's say, a pressurization stage. So if the system needs to work at 9 bar, the pump will start going to get 9 bar. So the system is in a ready state. Then it will go through a dosing stage. So at that point, it will then say to the issue, please dose 100 ml of AdBlue for me. At the end of that test, it will then go through a post-operational stage where it will depressurize the system. But at the end of that test, you've got something physically to check. So you get the measuring jug and say, you should have 100 ml of AdBlue.
Which is great with Jaltest because, I mean, as we said earlier, we aren't technicians, but what Jaltest will give you at the start of the test is all of its parameters. What is a dosing test? What does it do? What does it involve?
The initial conditions you must have.
What should you be getting from this test?
And it's massive. And it is at the end, and then it gives you that tolerance as well. So it will say, this is how much you should get, and here's the tolerance. And I know from years gone by on the support desk, other diagnostic providers didn't do that. So they'll do the same test, but not tell you what you should expect at the end. So it's like,
it's as good as doing it, but what's the point in doing it?
No, exactly that. So with that, like you said, from start to end, it tells you this is how the vehicle needs to be. This is the state. This is what you need to do. Big one, take the injector out of the exhaust and put it into a container. If it didn't say that, you're going to just run that test and it's just going to inject AdBlue into a cold exhaust.
You're not going to know.
And coming back to that support thing again, if that's the first time a customer is doing this, and they've done it on a Mercedes for years, but now they've come to a DAF or a Volvo, what do I need to do on this truck now? So this is where vehicle guys can remote onto their kit and sort of do it with them or for them and tell them sort of what to do, if you like. And
that's actually a really good point, because if you was to do it, let's say on a Mercedes and it was just an injector that was screwed into the exhaust and you unscrew and put it into a container, but then they moved over to a Scania and the whole unit's bolted onto the exhaust. And I think, well, what do I do? Do I just take the pipe off? Or, well, if they took the pipe off, it'd just be one-to-one injection, because the metering valve is that big unit. It's bolted into the exhaust. So, unbolt that and take it off. So it shows you that on Jaltest, but as you said, if they've never done anything, is that right? They can phone the guys up.
Again, these guys are doing this day in, day out, repeatedly. So what they don't know sometimes isn't worth knowing. No, you are right, definitely.
It's like having more master technicians in your workshop. You're not just buying a diagnostic tool.
Exactly.
But you're not paying them the wage. You're paying a subscription that equates to £1 a day. So you're getting that level of knowledge for £1 a day.
Sure.
So which is
invaluable.
Use it once and it's paid for itself. No, it's a big thing we sort of stress on our demonstrations.
Well, definitely, because the next part of the training we do is then the programming side. So one of the topics we talk about is trailer programming, which we touched on earlier.
Jaltest is very good at.
There's not one system, so from Norbem's, Wabco, and Howdex that we can't do. Even when they bring a new variant out, so Wabco just put out their E6 valve. So you've got Wabco C, D, and E, but in each of them variants, there's sub-variants. So E, it started at V0 and went out to E6. That came out, obviously, because Procon was up. It's going to be on the software release coming out this month.
Right.
Wow.
So they don't rest. They're on it. They know, and they're already developing it.
And it's why it's so important to update the kit.
Yeah, that's massive. That is massive to keep the kit updated.
Yeah.
Even from a support point of view. So if we remote, so all of our machines upstairs, which we run Jaltest on the latest version.
Yeah.
So let's say we couldn't remote onto somebody's PC for whatever reason, that they are literally in the most remotest area possible, and we can't remote on. And we say, okay, on your screen you should see this. No, I don't see that. Then it should be there, and we say, right, what version that you run in? So currently we're on 21.2, and they read and say, oh, we're on 17.3. That's why you can't do it. And then the only solution is to update it, but they're in the middle of nowhere. And we obviously send information out and invites to update, saying this version's come out. Not only here's the latest version, but here's the list, here's the innovation list. These are the key points that have been brought out.
Sure.
Yeah. And I look at those, by the way, every time before, and I'm amazed at how many
it's
hundreds
of applications
that have been updated.
So the big updates, they're definitely worth doing every time. Yeah.
But going back to your point, Aaron, that user support once and it pays for itself, that the kind of programming side of it, that speaks volumes. So to call out a third party to program a trailer valve, you probably are talking, I think we had a customer saying that they pay £750 a time.
Wow.
To have something to come out.
Price of a modulator, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Whereas they not only can they do it on the software, but they have that support where we'll remote on and we will talk them through. And there's many procedures. So there's copy and pasting. If you can't copy and paste it, you can manually input it. If there's no data that you can get, you've got to use the data plate of the trailer. We will help you program it off a data plate, which is literally plate on the side of the trailer, has a load of numbers. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But these guys not only will then do it, and as we said before, they will educate you of how they're doing it. So they won't just say,
this is what you need to put in.
Yeah.
But then Jaltest will almost steer you in that direction.
Anyway.
The software, you wouldn't believe it. So I'll give you an example. If I use this as a card, so let's say this was the data plate, here, and it had all these numbers. If it says, I want you to put in the trailer type, and you hit the question mark, it highlights the part that you need to find out.
Oh, wow.
It literally will highlight and say, that's where you're looking at. You look at the data plate and go, oh, that's that. Yeah. So, but it's the confidence to do it.
I think that's the most important bit.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And knowing that they've got the likes of myself and obviously the vehicle team upstairs to phone and say, I'm a bit nervous to do this first time. We'll say, not a problem. We'll remote on. And we'll help them do it. And then the second time, let's say they'll do it themselves, but they'll phone us up to qualify.
Can you just double check it?
Have I done this right? Here's information I've inputted. Can you check it? That's perfect.
That confidence.
Third, fourth, fifth time, they're on the way and they're saving themselves thousands of pounds a year because they've got a kit that can do the job, but they've got that backup support that gives them the confidence to do it. So even if they made a mistake, they know, I'm not sure where I'm at now. Phone support, right, what have you done?
Are going to check it.
Yeah, that's it.
This is what I've done. We look, that's all you've done. You've put that figure there instead of that figure there, swap it round, and it all works.
And that's all covered on the training, which obviously we're talking about.
It is, and that is all on the intro course. So that the intro course, we start at 8:30, we finish at around about 5:00, and it is jam packed. What we never claim is they're going to leave at the end of the day being Jaltest experts, but what they will leave at the end of the day is they can see the potential. The potential of their investment. Where that revenue is coming from, and almost cementing why they've invested, not only in Jaltest, but why they've invested into Eclipse, because we've sold on the best kit. The salesmen have done that best introduction they can. They've done that handover. They haven't just said, thanks for your money, here's your kit.
See you later.
I'll see you in 5 years when we'll spend money off
And
you.
it's that importance of, again, like we stressed in a previous episode, actually, is you buy the kit to save money as an operator, or you buy the kit to make money.
Absolutely.
As a repairer. And that's more than possible with our support and with the best tool in the world.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
And then we've done the intro course, and now let's say we've invited them to come to our advanced courses. So we do an advanced trailer programming course. So that is a 1-day jam-packed intense course of working on Wabco, Howdex and Norbem's and every element of programming in the trailer. And at the end of that day, they do leave and they know exactly what they're doing. and they go back and they've got 5 trailers ready to go, and they're away.
I mean, what I like with them is sometimes when we're plugging into these trailers on demonstrations, it's knowing sometimes, right, okay, it should have a Wabco C, but what does it look like? What am I going into? And that's where on Jaltest you can press the picture, know what it looks like, so you know that, right, I'm going into the right one. Now, connection 1 to 5, how is this trailer wired up now? So it could be wired like this, or this, or this, or if it's inevitably green or not quite there, you could pin into it. So it's giving you, if you weren't an expert at the time, a clear indication of what it looks like and how to connect to it. And then, of course, you've got the backup of the support if needed as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, definitely. And then my favourite course that we run is we run a 2-day advanced AdBlue training course, which goes through everything of AdBlue system. So we go from the fundamentals, as I said earlier. What is AdBlue? How does it work? So what is the AdBlue actually doing? When you inject into exhaust, why is it doing it? How does the EGR side of it work? What's the purpose of that? How does the DPF work? And then we obviously go through then each of the manufacturers of the AdBlue systems in depth. So this is how the system works. These are where the components are found. Common fault codes that you get on it, and all tying it back to Jaltest. So if you have this fault code, you go onto Jaltest and you go here and you go to this system check. Or if you've got this fault code and you've replaced this component, this is how you calibrate the system. So, and again, with them ones, for our opinion, this is always what we recommend, is go on the intro course. Do the intro course. So then Jaltest is fully understood by you. So when you come on the AdBlue course, we start then referring back to calibrations, system checks.
They know
they already know it. Whereas if they came,
do in this case,
and if they came, let's say a week after they bought the kit, and yes, they will learn a massive amount of what AdBlue is, but what they would then possibly struggle on then is when we start referring to Jaltest and we go into the advanced functions. They're like, I've not seen this. Whereas when they've used it, they've been on the intro course, they've come on the AdBlue course. They've already got that fundamentals already boxed off. So then that just then elevates them to the next level.
I think for, if you were a sort of a company sort of boss, I mean, putting faith in your technicians and putting them on a course to let them go further and sort of essentially make or save more money for the company, that's so important. And possible with Jaltest and our support again. So,
well, we've had national accounts that we've built bespoke courses to them on their reviews, and some of the technicians saying that our training course is more informative of a manufacturer one that they've been on, only because of how much that we cover, and we all relate it back to the Jaltest. So let's say, for example, you go on a Bosch course, but Bosch don't use Jaltest. So they show all of, so again, it's back to that. They've learned a lot on the system, and don't get me wrong, they're going to learn loads of the system, but what they've not learned anything about is how do I then put that back to my diagnostic if you just show me on this piece of kit. So our customers come on our courses and they learn about our product, they learn about an AdBlue system, but learn about how to fix it using the Jaltest that they have in the workshop. So it's so specific to what they have that they go away and, from my opinion, that every course that we've done, which has been hundreds, that they go away happy.
They've got everything they need to go cracking, get cracking on with the Jaltest.
And you highlighted with our courses, we don't have any reason to hold back with our information. If you do go on, okay, fair enough. If you're a Mercedes technician, I'm sure Mercedes are going to go do a great job training you on these courses. But if you are, an operator with so many Mercedes trucks that they have invited one of your technicians on a course, or you have paid to send your technicians on a course with Mercedes, are they really going to tell you everything? Are they going to show you so much that you're not going to use Mercedes ever again? And obviously with our courses, we're there to, as you say, help you, educate you, but also everything will be linked back to the Jaltest, giving you the freedom, the capability to put the equipment in your own hands and give you the control. Absolutely. Whether you're a repairer or whether or not you're an operator.
But also the confidence knowing that they can revert back to our support team. Should they then say, remember on that training course they showed us how to do this, but I can't quite remember how to get there. You pick up the phone to the support team. So everything's all linked. So
in the 30-second phone call, you've got that answer.
Of course you have.
You're not waiting for days for an answer. You've got that answer straight there in the moment.
And that's again something we can commend. When I am with a customer, I was with a marine customer yesterday, and we had an issue with an Iveco engine, and the customer, it was a one of these fault codes, an intermittent fault, and it could be several different reasons. And I phoned one of the vehicle support guys straight through, and within a couple of minutes, not only, well, in the first 30 seconds, I'd already had my possible error causes, the components that are related to the error, what we needed to do step by step. But I also had all that information sent to me on the email from our technical support that I could give to the customer, and the customer was like, wow, I know exactly what I need to do now for this fault.
And essentially that sums it up. The Jaltest is the first level of support. It will give you everything there you need to go and check, know, and troubleshoot.
Yeah.
But then it's having that expertise of saying, right, yes, you are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
This is how to get to it.
And
that together makes the job
makes us the complete package.
Exactly.
We not only supply the best kit. I think that the sales force that we have on the road is one of the best, because we don't but we don't have to try and add sugar to what we sell.
No,
we don't have to try and sweeten it, because we go in and say, this is the kit. Let me show you. Oh, and also we've got a support team that's second to none. Have you early? Let me prove it.
Yeah.
And you guys on every
the
demo.
perfect demonstration.
And I can almost, we do on demonstrations, we dial that number
and we're straight through.
And we are through.
Yeah.
It's not a gimmick. It's there.
In fact, I did have one of the vehicle support laugh the other day, because that's exactly why I rang, was just to show the customer had poor experiences in the past with other suppliers, and I phoned straight through to the vehicle support, and I was through, I think it was 17 seconds, and that includes the option one, option two, the dialogue, exactly. 17 seconds, and I'm through to a vehicle technician explaining what my fault was, and he was laughing, because actually I said, I don't actually have a fault for you.
It's such a good sale. Well, almost it's a good eyes on the cake, saying, look, this is it, and you guys have the confidence of going to a demo knowing it doesn't matter what they've got. It doesn't matter what questions they have, because I'm not there to answer them questions.
No, we're not there to fix the vehicle. We're there to supply them the best kit in the world, and know that support is there.
And you know that, if they ask you the most technical question that you're like, I don't even know what you've asked, let alone how to answer it. It is literally a phone call. Like, I'm with so-and-so, they've asked this, but what's the answer? And 9 times out of 10 will give you the answer straight over the phone. If not, minutes, and we'll phone you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the answer.
If we do need to do that little bit more research.
Exactly that. So if it's a function, let's say that we don't see on the software, we say, okay, let's speak to engineers. We're not going to claim that it can do something that it can't, but we can go to the engineer, and 9 times out of 10 we'll say, it's already in hand, and it's going to come out in the next version. I'll tell you what, actually, if you want me to, I'll show you some screenshots of it. Because we have the ability to look at future updates.
Which is so
the beta versions.
And knowing where the kit is going, and every time. So you look 5 years ago, again, like we said in the first episode, how far it's going 5 years, but not only 5 years, but 6 months.
Sure.
12 months. How far this kit is going now. We're into so much more.
We had a customer a few months ago now call us and again commend the support for that very reason, that actually the equipment couldn't or didn't have listed the machine and the vehicle he wanted to communicate with. And I think he phoned support were able to contact the engineers in Spain, and we actually discovered that on the next beta version, that was listed.
And this was a brand new machine, right?
And this was absolutely brand new machine. And I think from memory, we were able to give that customer the ability to access the beta version, that one off, to make sure he was able to do what he needed to do. And obviously said to the customer, there you go, you can see that it works. That's going to be on the next update, Mr. Customer. Thank you very much. And he was over the moon.
Putting that confidence in them, knowing that the kit is ever getting better, and it has to keep evolving.
Sure.
Vehicles keep getting more clever.
It's only getting more and more complex, but our system gets more and more comprehensive, and absolutely so does the service, with however 15, 16 years worth of experience, and also our database.
And it makes the customers come back. I think we touched before, like we put customers on their fifth kit, but it's because you guys go and do the job. You go and do the demos, you go and do the handover training. At that point, then the customer gets handed over to me and obviously my team. We then obviously support them for the period of time that they've got that kit. We train them up on it, and then it gets to the point that your kit's now 5-6 years old. Our recommendation now is that your tablet is, for at the time when you bought it, was the best thing ever. Now, it's ancient because we all know that the technology
moves on.
Of PCs moves on quickly.
And this is what we feel our the customers with again, is that they don't change the kit every year.
No.
You know, that's the first link change they've had for years.
Yes.
Only because these newer vehicles, I mean, we're knocking on the door of Euro 7. So ultimately the kit has to change. But the kit doesn't change every year because, you know, they're well on it with software.
We give you that software. We crown you with the software for the duration of having that. We get the absolute most out of that hardware.
And not changed it because they...
No, and equally, if we weren't confident in that, we wouldn't offer the 5-year package.
Exactly, the total Eclipse package.
So the fact that we are that confident that we will literally put our name to it and say, we'll give you 5 years of everything.
There's your confidence.
Updates, warranty, licenses, and technical support. There you go. That's you sorted for the next 5 years.
At least.
Absolutely.
At least.
Sure.
At least.
The kit's there's anyway.
And it varies customer to customer. Obviously, some repairers may like to stick to the very earliest versions of Euro 6 and stay on Euro 5 because of where they are in the UK. But then we do have, obviously we cover in London, we have a lot of customers that are covering the latest Euro 6 vehicles. They need the latest hardware. And that's obviously what version 9.
Over 18 months now. So
with the version 9. Sure. Well, thanks ever so much, Brett, for joining us. It's been really insightful for both me and Aaron, and I hope obviously the viewers and the listeners have also learned something and a bit of an insight into the technical support. If you are interested in what Jaltest can do for you, please reach out for an on-site demonstration. Thanks again.
Thank you for watching our Eclipse Exchange podcast. If you did enjoy watching, hit the like, comment, subscribe button, and then the bell icon for all of our future updates.
I'll see you soon.